Heather, nice to see
All
you.
right, so we just rolled a two. We rolled a two.
Yeah, we just rolled a two. So Lou, what I like doing is, hey, what's up, Chris? I like giving away cards from the collections we buy.
Right.
As I do encourage you, not only hang on to it, if you want to sell it, by all means, go right ahead. But to me, it's kind of fun because in the coming weeks, you'll be able to show a buddy of yours, collecting buddy, friend, family member, hey, this 53 Topps Rizzuto that I won from Vintage Breaks and Just Collect, it actually came from this collection on their blog. You can read about it. There was Gaudi's, there was Mantles.
Yep.
To me, the reason I do this is not just for the money, it's for the stories. It's for
Sure,
the
right.
experience. And so if you can kind of secure that, procure that, and enjoy and revel in the background of it, the way that I'm a baseball card geek, I just think it makes it a lot more fun.
Of course it does. A little personality in there, and there's always a good story with these collections.
Yeah. Now, this is the last placed, seventh place prize for today's promo. So if you look at first glance, you're like, wow, this is a really nice 57 Topps Ashburn. I wonder why Leighton's not getting it graded. The damnedest thing, I'm going through the pile, and there's like a handful of cards. Can you see that? The tiniest of like a pinhole.
Pinhole, yeah.
Like a push pin.
They
So
were-
I don't
they
know
were-
if Richie Ashburn was his guy.
Yeah. They were put up with thumbtacks somewhere. That's
Exactly. Still a beautiful
Yeah.
card. If you graded it with PSA, probably a 1 or a 2. But
Yeah.
yet the eye appeal is that of let's say a 6 or a 7.
all. Right.
So there's just a lot of different ways to slice it to enjoy collecting. All right, here is a 10 card 79 OPC pack number 130. We're going for an Ozzie Smith rookie, of course, in PSA 10 does bring big money, but there's also some other great cards in here possibly as well. Nolan Ryan, George Brett is worth good money in a 10, so on and so forth. The first card will be underneath the gum, which is on the other side. Let's see here. So, Lou, that's the kind of stuff, and of course more, that we'll be talking about on the new podcast we're collaborating on.
So you're just going to spill the beans, huh?
Well, slowly but surely. You want to get people excited, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I'll get back to your email later on so we can try to solidify,
Yep.
time and place and such. But really looking forward to it, Lou.
I am too.
Good. Mike Caldwell, card number 2. So a lot of crazy stuff going on in baseball. Admittedly,
Yeah.
I didn't study this suggested new format.
The playoff. Yeah.
Yes. Have you, Lou?
Studied it would be strong.
Okay.
I'm familiar with what the parameters are. I'm not a big fan of the whole idea.
So what's the deal in general? I know they want to add more teams, so I get that. But tell us, for those that didn't look at it as closely maybe as you did, just give us a macro view as to what they're suggesting.
Well, they want to expand the playoffs, which is admirable because they don't want teams tanking, and they want more teams and more fan bases involved as we get towards the end of the season. And I understand that to an extent, but baseball is kind of a unique animal to me in that this whole format that they have now with the wild card one-game playoff, one of the biggest penalties of that, and in this case I think it works because if you win a division, for example, if you're one of the top 2 teams, you should stay out of this one-game playoff. But the big penalty of being in the one-game playoff is you got to use a pitcher.
Yes.
And you got to use a good pitcher.
Yeah, and you
there-
don't have them for the next game.
It sets you behind in the upcoming 5-game series. Think about this with a series of smaller series, how you can set up your rotation. How are you going to set up your rotation to go through 4 rounds of playoffs? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
From that standpoint, Lou, I think it's an excellent point. Without getting into the new format, I think that even though there's parts of it I don't like, man, if you are just a baseball fan, watching a one-game playoff to kind of kick off the playoffs,
Yeah.
that is freaking exciting.
Yes.
And so, to your point, not only because if you don't win, you go home, but I would love them to bring out a Max Scherzer in the 8th inning, right? Or whoever the case is, and they don't care because they know they're going home.
Right.
Meanwhile, of course, you don't really want to use him because he's your number one guy to lead off the next series. It just, I agree with you. I think that, personally, I would like to see the playoffs expanded, but in a different format. I don't have the suggestion. I just think that don't sacrifice some of the excitement to bring in other excitement because you've now had some additional teams. It's like
Right.
keep the excitement and let's build upon the excitement with additional teams, if that makes any sense.
Right. And I like the way the one-game playoff sets up because the top two teams in the league get the bye, and they can set up their rotation and get a little rest.
It's fair. It's fair.
So, it gives you some value for it being one of the top two teams in the majors.
Yes.
I think it's just going to be a really tough path for some of these teams in a large playoff like that. Because, again, baseball is a different animal because a team is completely different from its first starter to its fourth starter. And just, I don't know. I'd have to look at it a little bit more. I'm not real happy with it. I'm not real happy with baseball right now anyway, overall.
Well, I'm still looking forward to come back. This is an extra card, by the way. Butch Weiniger, this is going to go to you, George. This is an extra card. I think it's actually, no, it's not a rookie. It's second year, I believe. Or third year, excuse me. But I see Kevin's comment here. A lot of folks feel as though if they're going to add more playoffs, they need to shorten the season. I'm not sure baseball is going to do that, only because it means less revenue.
Right. They won't, but that's exactly what they need to do. That's right. I mean, we're starting the Major League Baseball season in March 26th this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to expand this as much as they can.
Oh, definitely.
It says number 2 team gets to pick who they play. It's funny, in my football fantasy league, in the playoffs, we get to pick who we play, which I think is brilliant.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, the top team gets to pick who they play in the first round. Because think about it, a team may have a poor record because they had Patrick Mahomes last year and he missed 6 or 8 games in the middle of the season. They're a really good